Hi, this is Dave, and before we get to the show, I wanted to ask you a favor. One of our goals this year is to grow the show so that What Does Star Wars Mean to You reaches more listeners. And that's where we're asking you for help. And it's really easy. Wherever you listen to us, please hit that subscribe button. If you're liking the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on the platform you listen to us. We make a lot of fun of the algorithm and the smash that button thing, but it really does help us get noticed by new fans. And if you want to join in on the conversation, find us on social at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. Now, let's chat some Star Wars.
Hello there. This is Elora, and I'm a prequel trilogy kid.
And this is Dave, and I'm an original trilogy kid. I feel like a 1980s cereal when I say that. You know, it's like, original trilogies, full of goodness. I'm an original trilogy kid. I love original trilogios.
Try prequel O's.
Yeah.
Now with even more sugar.
Yeah. And you're listening to What Does Star Wars Mean to You? The podcast where we talk to all kinds of fans of the franchise, from industry insiders to indie artists, from obsessive mythologists to mega collectors, all for one goal: to take the hate out of the debate by focusing on one fan at a time, to find out what does Star Wars mean to you. Plus, it's just a lot of fun to chat Star Wars.
I enjoy it.
So if you want to get in on the conversation, you can do so at Star Wars Mean to You. That's at Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. And please subscribe and rate our podcast. It really helps get the word out there. It helps us beat the algorithm. And don't you want to help us beat the AI man?
Help us beat the empire, the AI empire. No.
Yes.
So last week we spoke with Robbie Weideman, who runs the Star Wars Shot by Shot Twitter account. We had a great conversation about the cinematography of Star Wars.
Yes.
And we thought it'd be fun this week to discuss our favorite cinematic moments from each trilogy, which, yes, I am aware may not be the most riveting radio talk, but we're really diving into what we feel are the most pivotal, influential, or just fun moments for us from our point of view in Star Wars. And we'll be sharing all of these on our Instagram and our Twitter, so you can join us in the conversation there. And we hope if you're listening that you're familiar enough with the movies that you can visualize the scenes that we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're probably all going to be pretty much iconic scenes.
Yes.
as most pivotal or influential. And quite frankly, I just realized if we had our stuff together, we could have done an awards show.
Oh, that would have been fun.
And we could have rated, maybe we do that as a social campaign at some point where
maybe we do something at Christmas time. We do the 12 something of Star
shots
Wars.
Of Christmas, yeah,
the 12 shots of Christmas. Oh my God, and we could have a different shot each time.
Yeah, it'd be like what do you call that thing with the little doors? Advent calendar.
It would be like a Star Wars advent calendar with our most favorite scenes from all of Star Wars. It could be any content, not just films.
Yeah. And
then our favorite liquor.
It's a great pairing.
We might have to video record those.
Yes. Any reason to drink, really?
Any reason to drink while talking Star Wars. Okay, Dave, what is your favorite from the prequel trilogy?
Well, okay, but I just want to say that we did the prequel, original, and sequel trilogies, and it's our one shot from each trilogy. So it's not when I first started this, I was like, oh, shot from each movie. Nah. It's
that's too hard.
That's too hard. And it's kind of I saw this as a little bit this is the one shot that I think represents this trilogy the most.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to go for. And you would think it would be harder to pick one across 3, but I actually found it a lot easier because it was kind of what for me when I think of the original trilogy stands out the most in my mind, in my memory. Yeah.
Yes. So this is prequel, and this was really hard for me just because episode 1 is with Jake Lloyd, and it's almost a different era of Star Wars. And then 2 and 3 have Hayden Christensen, and it's a very kind of, they have a slightly different tone and stuff. So it's almost, I always saw episode 1 as almost a prequel to episode 2. Episode 1's the Rogue One to episodes 2 Star Wars in a way.
I agree with that. I've never thought of it like that, but I rewatched them recently, and when we were preparing for the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary and
Yes.
everything. It's not that long ago, and it does. It feels separate.
Yes, it
Yeah.
feels separate. I think that's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, the addition of Hayden, Padme's older, and Ewan is a bit older as well. Like, and it's only a couple
Yeah.
years, but it shows enough. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they age him up a
They
bit
do.
in the makeup
do.
and
her
stuff.
too.
Or they younged him down when they did the episode 1. So this one was really hard for me, but to me, the one shot that like really captures the prequel trilogy for me is the shot of young Anakin Skywalker in the pod race, and the camera's looking directly at him, and he has his hands up on the controls.
Yeah.
He has those wild, like, the goggles on.
They're like the Mad Eye Moody goggles. Like,
Yes, exactly. It's like he's steampunk cosplaying and with those goggles on.
Yeah.
And this shot I felt like was like used in so much advertisement that not only was it the shot of the episode 1, I feel like it is a good representation of the entire trilogy because it's a kid in a pod race, both completely new to the brains of Star Wars fans when it dropped.
Yeah.
Also used in so much advertisement. I feel like there should be like a Pepsi logo on his helmet or something here. I'm glad there's not, but I just feel like it embodies the newness of the prequels and kind of sets us up for the fun and adventure of it. So
I love the exact frame you picked for this too, and you're gonna have to go over to our Instagram or our Twitter and see which frame Dave picked. But it's the one where his teeth are showing a little bit in this kind of like awkward smile, like he's almost the emoji that's like the all the teeth and the like scared eyes. Like, it's so perfectly Anakin at that time. Like it's a little boy who is determined but a little scared. Like yes. So and in that way, I think this particular frame also really captures the prequel trilogy because that's so Anakin throughout his entire story as Anakin he is determined, but I think he lives in a lot of fear too.
Yes. Totally.
So I don't know if that was too deep for a screen grab, but
I got a little distracted because you said that's so Anakin, and I was like, well, Disney Plus, there's your new television show. It's so the sitcom. Anakin. That's so Anakin.
He sees into the future. No. Oh my God, they're gonna take our Star Wars street cred away. Okay.
I think they already have.
No, mine anyway. I'm making a not so Raven joke on a Star Wars podcast. So mine are all Padme and Anakin related, and it's the Clone Wars. I had 3 shots from the Clone Wars that I really couldn't choose between because they all kind of blend together in my mind. But when I think of the prequel trilogy, I think of that love story the most. I think I was enthralled with it as a kid. The Clone Wars was my favorite movie, so all of these kind of like cement all of that. It's the hug in Tatooine when Anakin leaves to go collect Shmi and Padme seeing him off.
That's a polite way of saying it.
Well, rescue her? I probably should have said
massacre a bunch of
I mean, if someone had my mother tied up and tortured in the desert, I can't say I'd react much differently if I had the same power as Anakin. But, there's the shot where they're leaving Padme's ship, the name of which is escaping me right now, into that kind of like foggy... God, I'm trying to remember what planet they've landed on. Oh, man. Talk about my Star Wars street cred. We'll have all of this on our Instagram. And then most pivotal is the kiss in the hall, coming out into like the gladiator arena where the ultimate battle does eventually commence. Yeah.
The Colosseum shot.
The Colosseum shot, yeah. So I feel like that arc, especially their love story in Clone Wars, is kind of the essence of the prequel trilogy. Because it does, it drives all of Anakin's character motivation into Darth Vader, leading us into the originals.
And I love how on the silhouettes, they really try to give Hayden Christensen or Anakin helmet head so that he has a little bit of a profile of Darth Vader. I think that's really cool.
It's so funny. There's so many cute and I think like notorious shots from this film of them on Naboo specifically that's just so lighthearted and it's colorful and it's epic and even the wedding scene. But these 3 shots for me speak way more to like the depth of their character arc. They're all colored really, they're all kind of dark and ominous. And it's almost like there's this creeping, like sinister kind of like shadow. Yeah, exactly. Like
so
coming over them. And so that's just a testament to the cinematographer, David Tattersall, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
I'm terrible pronouncing names.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, but I just thought that was
take care. Say it.
I thought that was a really, really important choice that he made as the movie progressed and Anakin was slipping more and more into the dark side, because it starts with that hug, that shadow starts to cast, and then every time you see them since, except for the wedding, only in Naboo are they then colored. Everything else is very dark. There's always like a shadow over them. Yeah,
it's kind of like desaturated a little bit. And you're absolutely right. It feels very ominous.
Yeah, they're also a bit shadowed in the secret ceremony scene as well. Most of the colors behind them at that point, they're in the shade on the deck. I thought that was I don't know if that was an intentional choice. I'm sure it was, because these people who put this movie together were brilliant. But I noticed it, David. Hats off. Yeah. Not that he needs my praise.
He's at home right now going, "Oh, she liked it.
Finally,
Elora liked it.
Finally."
Someone sees it.
I have mad respect for that choice. I think it's really beautiful.
What's also interesting about that Tatooine shot where they're hugging in front of the Lars homestead is that it kind of leads into Star Wars.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
This is like, that shot is like I would call early Twilight.
Yeah.
And for the original trilogy, I have to say, like, I'm sure right now everyone listening to this is screaming exactly what the shot is. It's Luke looking at the twin sunset right outside of the Lars homestead. When I really think about it, like, I don't think about this shot too much, but under these conditions, like, what represents each trilogy? This shot doesn't only just represent the trilogy. I think it represents the entire saga. Yeah. So that looking off into the future, wondering if where you're at is the right place. Yeah. Wanting to be something better. To me, this is the shot of shots.
It's literally hope. And it's a new hope. It's a new hope. And it's so hope coded.
It is hope coded.
Looking beyond the horizon. That is the name of the game right there.
Yes.
No, I think you're right. I think there's nothing more pivotal or influential from the originals than that shot. I had another very cliche one that I picked, and it's Leia giving the plans to R2 in that smoke-filled hallway.
Yeah, with the long shot, they're down at the end of the hallway, and she's like looking around and putting the plans into his. And
what C-3PO kind of witnesses down the hall there, and they're both colored very similarly. They both have like a pink purple hue to it. That's the duality. That's like the twins. I thought was really an interesting choice. Cinematographer for A New Hope was Gilbert Taylor. Both were directed by George Lucas. Both films we talked about were directed by George Lucas, as everyone listening hopefully knows. But I loved that. I loved throughout A New Hope, a lot of times Leia and Luke are surrounded by very similar colors. Which I thought was
that's really interesting.
Yeah, I only noticed it on my watch yesterday.
It's so funny how, like, somehow, like, when you do something like this and then you rewatch the movies, like, different things click for you. And I find that a lot of fun. I'm going to take a little bit of a... No, I'm not. I was going to take a bit of a tangent about me watching Logan, but... Oh. Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
It's your party and you can cry if you want to, Dave.
I was watching Logan the other night, And I noticed that he starts in a limousine, and then each car he gets, whether he steals it or buys it or whatever, gets successively worse and worse and more run down to the end where he's just driving this jalopy that he stole. So, let's see.
Oh, man. You have another favorite shot from Return of the Jedi.
Yes. I don't know if I want to talk about this shot.
Okay, then we don't have to.
I feel awkward. Is it awkward?
Let me read it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe for Twitter.
Maybe for Twitter.
I think it's funny.
It's just something Okay, so in Return of the Jedi...
Let's record it, and if you don't like it later, you can take it out. Yeah.
Exactly. I guarantee you, I want to take it out. I can't. Okay, so in Return of the Jedi, this is something I noticed a long time ago when I got the letterboxed edition on VHS and was watching it. But there's, at the end during the bunker scene on Endor, when Leia, Han, R2-D2, and C-3PO are in the doorway trying to open it up, Leia gets shot in the arm and falls backwards. And as she does so, Han Solo reaches out to her, and he grabs her boob and then puts his hand on her shoulder. And it's just the most, did that just happen? Did he really just do that? And if you watch it a couple times, you're like, he did that on purpose. And then you're like, maybe he didn't. I don't know. And I say, did it on purpose. And one thing, by the time this airs, that shot will have gone by on shot by shot. I'm really curious whether or not he highlights that.
It's such a Han move. That's such a Han thing to do. I do. I hope Robbie catches that. And if he's listening to this and he didn't, I hope he retroactively goes back and finds the screen grab that Dave's talking about and then tags us, because I think that it's funny when you can catch blips like that in films where you can't tell, was this an actor choice and it was just left in? Was that an accident that was left in? It's kind of up for the audience to decide. Yeah.
Was there something they didn't catch the first time they shot it and they're like, well, this is the shot we have, so... Yeah,
was someone sitting at the premiere shit?
Yeah, exactly. God damn it, Harrison! What are you doing? You're ruining my movie!
You didn't catch that? Really? Yeah. No, I'm sure they knew it was in there. Do you want to talk about Empire, or do you want to move on to sequels? Okay.
Also, Empire, I think, because what was so hard with this is because I'm an original trilogy kid, there were so many shots that I loved. And Empire is just filled with faves. And of all my favorites, I still can't get beyond saying the most influential of those three is the dual binary sunset shot. But in Empire Strikes Back, the shot of Darth Vader in the freezing chamber waiting for Luke Skywalker to arrive is just so impressive. You just see the silhouette, you hear his breathing, and the light, the blue light behind him and the red lights of the stairs below him, where he's
it's so good.
Literally dissecting the screen in half or bisecting the screen in half. It's just a great fun. It's just one of my favorite shots from the trilogy.
I love Star Wars' use of color to influence the audience on how they should be feeling at any given point. There's something that's so ominous and threatening, but also strangely vulnerable from the blue background to this that. And I just I have so much appreciation for Star Wars color theory. I feel like someone, if there's a book out there on that or a blog or something, someone pointed out to me, because I would definitely pick that up. I think that it's something I'm picking up more and more as I watch the films over and over again, especially recently. As we've been talking about, since we talked to Robbie, I've been kind of eyeing the cinematography in a way that I hadn't before.
Exactly. I feel the exact same way, that I'm really looking at what they're doing as opposed to just going, oh, that's a cool creature right there.
Yeah, it's the difference between just taking it in and really kind of almost dissecting it as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
All right.
So the sequel trilogy.
Yes.
Okay.
I have argument to say that some of the best cinematography of Star Wars, but I know that that's going to be a very hotly contested. I don't think I'd necessarily disagree.
I think there's some really beautiful cinematography in all three of the movies, in all three of the sequel trilogies. It is hard for me to get away from myself enough to like truly appreciate it. Like it's to go, oh yeah, they are doing something better here than they did in Return of the Jedi. Because, you know, it's like the for me,
technology is different. It's probably not fair to say it's better because, I mean, we just praised the last two sequels so highly. I think it's just different. They brought a different. They kept Star Wars, but they brought in like a new generational kind of like look and feel to it. Like they expanded on it. Yeah.
So and it was kind of hard for me to think of like, oh, what is the one shot in this? And I kind of wimped out and I have between two. Okay, so I have it between two, and I do think it's going to be the latter. I think the first really stirs the pot, and I think the shot is Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder. And
it's so good. Unexpected.
So unexpected, but it also, I feel like, sets up so much of don't expect the unexpected here, because I'm going to be doing something different. This is not going to, like, when The Last Jedi was being promoted, I distinctly remember them using that line, this is not going to end the way you expect. And it was almost like prepping the audience that this is going to be something completely different. Yeah. Hold on to your pants because we're going to take some big swings. And this shot does that, and in the most, I think, concise way of all the movies in the sequel trilogy. Now, the one thing I would argue against me, because, you know, I love to have arguments against my own argument, because that's just how I'm built, is that this relies more on motion. It's not a still image. Like we were talking about, these are shots, not scenes or moments. So I think the other one, again from Last Jedi, is when Luke is facing off against Kylo Ren in the First Order. And he's holding his lightsaber, and you know this is the Luke you've been waiting for the whole movie. This is like, I'm a full-on Jedi Knight. Get ready to experience my power. And he does. He does an incredible feat. Regardless of whether you believe in it or not, it's an incredible feat. And they set up a moment of like, I'm going to use the Force and destroy this army, to be more of a moment of showing like what a truly wise Jedi might do.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
That's my shot. What about you? What's your...
Well, wait. I want to hit on your favorite shot too.
I
saw you have a note in here, and I agree. This is like, I just watched this movie this weekend, and I laughed so hard at this scene again. It's one of my favorites too.
Okay, so this is my favorite shot from the sequel trilogy. And it's Luke and Yoda by the fire. Yoda saying that they grow beyond what we are, or something like that.
He says, we are what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters. And that I literally paused and rewound because it's like I heard the line for the first time. Like it's so good. Anyway. Yeah.
I mean, you just said it and I got emotional about it because it's such a great send-off, I think, to Yoda and Luke, in the sense of like, they're on the sidelines now a little bit. They realize that they had their time and it may be over. And there's just a companionship there that I find so interesting. A casualness between the two. It literally feels like two old friends just hanging out at the park, and you get to be one of the friends with them. And it's a great moment. And
page turners, they were not. One of my favorites. Well, you read the Jedi text, did you? Well, I skimmed them. Page turners, they were not.
It's one of my it's like by far my favorite scene, and I know it's a lot of because they are original trilogy characters, but I just feel like it's a tremendous moment.
It is. It's you're not understanding it. It's a tremendous moment. They're both leaning against this rock. They're both tired. Like Yoda is a little bit more lighthearted. Luke's kind of reached this point where he realizes that, he knows what he has to do. And yeah, when Yoda says that to him, that, that's the burden, like Luke kind of lets out this like, well, fuck kind of sigh.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes.
And it's so human.
Yes.
No, it's great. It's a great scene. I found this really hard. This was harder for me than the others because I really felt like this entire trilogy was a cinematic masterpiece. Do you pick the Holdo maneuver? Do you pick the salt streaks of red on Crate as the air speeders are racing towards the First Order? Do you pick Rey igniting her saber to save Finn in The Force Awakens for the first time?
Yeah. Oh, her grabbing the lightsaber as Kylo pulls it towards him in Snoke's throne room.
That's stronger than his.
Yes.
The other runner-up for me was the Rebel Fleet's universal response on Exegol in The Rise of Skywalker. That makes me cry every time. But I settled on a shot that I don't think is going to surprise anybody. I mean, it was used in a lot of the film posters because it's just that epic. It's the throne room in The Last Jedi and again, this is kind of touching on what you said. It's a little bit more movement oriented in terms of like the power it really contains. But the still I picked, I think, is just so epic.
It is.
It's when Rey and Ben kind of look at each other and like realize we're doing this, and they turn their backs to one another in just complete trust to take down the Royal Guard. So, no, they're not the Royal Guard. What do they call themselves?
Praetorian.
To take down the Praetorian.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I think. Oh, I hope so. Well, we're getting a lot of pronunciation butchering on this episode. That's okay. That cinematography.
If you're listening to this show for pronunciation, let me tell you right now. Wrong show to be listening to, because we might as well be drunk the way we pronounce.
I mean, I kind of am. For our listeners, I had an allergic reaction this week, and I'm on a lot of prednisone, so bear with me. But the cinematography for The Last Jedi was Stephen Yedlin, directed by Rian Johnson, and
Ryan.
Oh, thank you. Directed by Rian Johnson. I can't believe I did that. This scene, this is the scene I rewind multiple times.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's really, in the image you grabbed where you see Rey kicking one of the guards while Kylo Ren's red lightsaber is bisecting the screen in the bottom half. Her blue lightsaber is pointed up, bisecting it in the opposite direction so that they're like right in the center of the screen. Both just wailing their lightsaber. It's a great
the leverage he's giving her.
Yes, he's supporting her.
He's literally supporting her in this clip. Yeah. No, sorry, I cut you off though.
I just think The Last Jedi for me of the sequel trilogy really does have the best cinematography, kind of the best just shot, still grab shots that you can just drool over.
Yeah. So, not that you needed it, but hats off to you, Stephen Yedlin, because that film was gorgeous.
It was.
I thought it'd be fun to do a bonus round of Rogue One, just because it stands alone, and I don't think it should be forgotten.
Yes. And this one, so I kind of went iconic, but I also went... Oh,
you went iconic. And I was actually, when I saw what you picked, I was like, damn. I should have gone with that. Yeah.
The thing is, I was like, I don't know if I can get something better than what you picked.
So, that's hilarious.
Elora had picked first and shared it, and I was like, oh no, that's really good.
Oh man, that's funny. We're jealous of each other's picks.
Okay, my pick is the absolutely best moment. Vader at the end of the hallway at the end of Rogue One, when he just ignites his saber. It's all in this blood red and black, and you just see his silhouette and the lightsaber.
It is bone chilling.
Open. And
actually,
it is,
We were just talking about this scene in our preamble before we started recording. Maybe you could cut it in here. I don't know if the audience will find it funny, but like we watched it with my family recently, and my father-in-law fell asleep on the couch, and we intentionally paused and woke him up just for this scene because we were like, "I'm sorry, you can't. You actually, it's illegal to miss this."
Yeah, it is. It's like you can't miss this scene. Yeah. And it is just, now here's my counter argument why it may not be the most influential or pivotal, is because it's about Darth Vader, who's not a major character in the story of Rogue One. And it's really, in some ways, it's added in there to just have like just a really cool scene, because you basically met all these characters and then killed them, and you're going to the audience, it's like, go home, have fun. Yeah. And they were like, well, let's put in this scene. And it just, it's so hard because Vader is a ruthless murderer. And yet you find yourself going, oh my God, that's so cool.
Oh yeah. It was a brilliant way to tie a bow on exactly what you just said. I mean, you watch the plan. Well, you watch the base. I don't think they destroy the entire planet. You watch the base erupt from the Death Star and immediately cut to just like seconds leading up to A New Hope.
And what this scene also does really well is it provides that bridge. It's almost like it's the handoff of the plans to, just like the handoff of the plans to the rebels, it's the handoff of character POV to Vader and Leia. And it's like, you get this sense that Vader is an unstoppable force that just will not give up. Yeah. And that energy propels it into A New Hope. I just think it's
well, you have this dichotomy of like, there's this great sense of loss, but they didn't lose. Didn't lose. And so you actually leave with warm and fuzzy, even though it's soul crushing because it's so real. It's so real. Like it's Rogue One is probably my favorite Star Wars film, but I can't watch it all the time because it's just too real.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's too guttural.
It's just a little too depressing. You're like, there's like, sure, it ends on the word hope, but it doesn't feel like it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's just like, God, the sacrifice shouldn't have to be that high, and yet it did.
Yeah.
My shot I picked was the first demonstration of the Death Star on Jeddah, when the camera pans out and you see the star coming over the sun and darkening the sky and igniting it with that green streak.
Yeah.
It's just, I have no words.
To me, this shot, like when I saw this shot, I was like, oh yeah, this totally represents Rogue One. Like if one shot represents, because it's the creation of the Death Star and its immense power, and how do you stop it? Yeah,
just like no one should have that much power. No one should have that much authority. No weapon should be of that massive destruction.
Yes.
It makes you feel small even as an audience member.
Yes.
And I think that's
powerless.
You feel so powerless and small, and that's why the movie is so well done, is because the entire time they're up against all these obstacles that make them feel so small, and then Jin tells them all, we're just going to keep going until all the chances are spent. And and the conviction you have to go forward like that. And I think it was really smart to have the family tie-in story, because that there's no more motivation than family. And then there you go, there's Star Wars, right? It's all family.
Yeah, that's true. Whether by blood or found.
Exactly. So that's why I picked that shot.
That's a great shot. So that's what Star Wars means to us this week. If you want to tell us what your favorite shot is, what shot do you think is the most influential or pivotal? What shot is the most iconic? Give us a shout at Star Wars Mean to You. That's at Star Wars Mean, the number 2 and the letter U. And you can find us on Threads, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
You can love us across all platforms. Yeah.
I want a bumper sticker that says that. Love us across all platforms. Love me across all platforms.
You can find us in the force of all platforms.
Yeah. Maybe we need a t-shirt that says...
We could create merch. We should discuss that. That'd be fun. But for now, next week we talk to Katrina Dennis, who hosts the Geeky Waffles What's Glup podcast and co-host Pedro Pascal. She has written for StarWars.com, consultant on Star Wars books like Brotherhood, and was the assistant producer on the docu-series Looking for Leia. We had a really great conversation, and we hope you enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so much, and she was so much fun. I really enjoyed
such a good energy. Yeah, I especially loved talking Looking for Leia.
Cool. So that may the Force be with you.
And with you. So next week, we talk to Katrina Dennis, who hosts the Geeky Waffles What's Glup, and co-hosts... Okay, hang on. I totally fucked that. Oh my God, that's totally the medication. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're going to do this again.
You're the blooper this week.
I know.
You're the blooper.
Apparently the steroids make it so I can't read. Okay. Okay. Next week, we talk to Katrina Dana.
Hi, this is Dave. And before we get to the show, I wanted to ask you a favor. One of our goals this year is to grow the show so that What Does Star Wars Mean to You reaches more listeners. And that's where we're asking you for help. And it's really easy. Wherever you listen to us, please hit that subscribe button. If you're liking the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on the platform you listen to us. We make a lot of fun of the algorithm and the smash that button thing, but it really does help us get noticed by new fans. And if you want to join in on the conversation, find us on social at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. Now, let's chat some Star Wars.